All right, what's up, everybody? This is Top's Daily Grind. This is episode number 159. And we have the late season hunter, a.k.a. Dylan Justesen, joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. So, Dylan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, like you said, my name is Dylan Justesen. I am from the area. I have a YouTube channel called Late Season Hunter, and basically that came about from just making goals and stuff. I work in a juvenile correction facility, and about a year ago, we were doing a class and we were talking about goals, about things that we've wanted to do and things that we've never done. And 2 years ago, I was in the hospital, super sick. And when I was in there, I was like, there's things I've always wanted to do. And one of them was big game hunting. And so I'm sharing this with the juveniles that I'm working with. And they're like, hey, you should film it and then bring it back to us so we can watch it and see what you're doing. And so it's kind of turned into me learning how to hunt. When I was younger, I did bow fishing and small game hunting. But throughout when hunting season kind of came up, I definitely wasn't prepared. So for the past 6 months leading into hunting season this year, I've been really learning and meeting people and just dialing in my skills, learning how to tune my bow, and then in turn bringing that back to the kids I work with and kind of inspiring them to get more into the outdoors. And kind of how coming here today with Top's Knives, I've been trying to reach out to different companies in Idaho to talk with them about goals that they have, what got them into what field they are. So Top's Knives obviously is knives, and then just going from there, what's the future? And so that's kind of been a fun process to kind of go through and bring that back and hopefully inspire the kids to get out. And so we did the interview just before this, and that was awesome. Me and Leo did it, and so
it turned out pretty good. So you guys, how long did it take you to put something out like that, like the interview we did?
Oh, I mean, luckily I probably won't cut it down a whole bunch. Probably how you guys do this, so I could honestly probably go home and between the next 2 days edit it, and I'll probably put it out next
it'll
week.
Be so close.
It'll probably be live by the time this goes.
So when you guys are hearing this, go check them out and see the interview we did. So touching back on your hunting, did you grow up hunting as well?
No, I kind of grew up fishing. Didn't really like it. I didn't like to sit around. I don't know if I had ADHD, but I definitely think I do now. But I learned about bow fishing, and so my dad would go and he'd be fishing. I'd be walking up and down the bank in the waders with my bow and just be sniping carp, and that was just a ton of fun. That was a lot more fun for me. And then, like I said, I just did small game hunting with some rabbits and squirrels and whatnot.
So this will be your first year going out?
Game?
Cool.
Yeah. So
don't go with Greg.
Is it all bow hunting? We're gonna skip that. Is it all bow hunting?
Bow hunting. I'll do rifle. Mainly bow hunting, just because I love archery. Done that since I was 14. I feel like there's a little side story that you have to tell me.
We're just waiting for him to be done.
We're gonna move on from that.
He doesn't want you to stop talking.
Every opportunity that I can, I'm gonna bring this up.
Okay.
But when we get done, we get done from here, go check out his rack he has in his office.
I'm gonna shut the door.
Nice.
I'm gonna shut the door and lock it.
It's a 7 point.
It's like a 6 point, 7 point.
Nice.
It's not any of that.
But anyways, when we get done with this, you'll go check it out.
6 fluffy points.
Nice. Perfect.
It's 3 on each side or 4 on each side. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know
Pretty
how
big.
it works.
That's awesome. But so no, just kind of like I said, goals, wanting to do stuff. I've been going to league nights, and I've been doing 3D
league nights, archery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yep. So they do that.
Leagues.
Yeah. So it's pretty fun. Next year I have a goal.
I'd like to do that to learn how to bow hunt, to learn how to use a bow actually.
Yeah. No, it's super good. And I recently joined an archery club in the St. Anthony, Rexburg area. A lot of my coworkers are actually in the presidency of it, but they have a 3D archery range that you walk around and you can go.
Isn't there one off the last? I'm gonna say the last exit of Rexburg.
Yeah.
Didn't they just build something?
The Mountain Archery, Mountain Archery and Optics. Yeah, it's super nice.
Is that where you go?
I go there a lot. Either that or I'll go to
Have you
Downwind.
seen that one on the side
Is
of
there
the
a
highway?
range there?
Yeah. There's they're 20 and 30, but it's really cool because they actually have like TV screens up on the top, so you can look at like instead of like.
So that your
where did I
first video you filmed it in there, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's super nice because you can kind of look up at the screen, and be like, oh, I actually shot right there instead of, oh, where did I hit? You know, so it makes it really nice. So if you're really trying to get into it and really trying to see where your shots are, they're really good. They have a really good setup there. But then also I go to the Downwind Archery in Ryrie, and Bud Robinson, he's awesome.
That's the outdoor one, right?
That's
Yeah,
the one
that's-
that's on the way to High C, right?
Yep,
I was trying to
exactly.
get my son to take some classes there because my wife found it and can't get him to go. I don't know what the hell, but it's
Yeah, Bud, I mean, if
He
you're
doesn't
trying
want
to.
to go?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because he thinks it's going to be a bunch of grown-ups or something. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
He's
okay.
gonna
Oh,
be bored.
It's awesome. They're hilarious. There's like a recurve night, so if you want to go like bare bow, you know, with like the old traditional style, and then they also have like a normal, just your compound bows. But they're super knowledgeable. Bud will help you set up your bow and dial it in, and he has classes, and they're one of the few people in the area that have like a kids group that they went down to like Las Vegas and competed this past year.
Oh, shit.
Like they're awesome. Bud's a great instructor. They have, you know, if you have kids in the area and you want them to learn archery, they have
So
like
he'll
a
teach
6-week
anybody-
course.
Like he'll teach like me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say us because I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys know. But like how to use a bow.
yeah,
like, from
exactly.
scratch?
From
I would.
scratch. Yeah, you go in
No,
there.
but do you know like how to use a bow? Like do you know the...
I shot a recurve like 3 times when I was a Boy Scout.
That's a start.
Damn,
That's a
dude.
start.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he was a Boy Scout.
I kind of know.
Me too.
Kind of know like nothing
get your
because I
Eagle?
was
Yeah, I did.
3 decades ago.
I-
you know,
I'm an
Craig got it.
Wait,
Craig
wait,
said
wait,
he got
wait.
it. Craig
Four-
said he
four
got it
decades ago.
in about a week and a half.
I got my Eagle when I was 14.
Nice. I could have gotten it when I was 14, but I was really lazy. I had like the project done at like 16, and then I just like pushed it off until like. And
I had a scout leader that was really cool. He was a really good dude.
He paid him off.
Craig's dad had a lot of money and paid him off.
That's definitely not true.
Yeah, I'm an Eagle Scout, and there's like the palms after. I have 4 palms. I got
I don't have any of those.
yeah.
Craig,
Once
what
I got
the
my Eagle, I was like, deuces.
You
man.
never told us that you
Yeah.
could go. We asked Craig, what could you do from there on? Like,
Nothing. Yeah.
And then they have like these other badges are like awards on steroids.
Damn,
like
I don't know what I feel. I feel like heartbroken now.
Yeah,
should.
we feel
Just
betrayed.
stop.
Isn't there like a silver eagle thing you can get when you're like an old person?
oh no.
Or is that the silver beaver? I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, there is. I think there's like a silver fox or something like that. I don't know, but
Una zorra plateada. That's how you would say it. You would say that in Spanish. Zorra plateada. Okay, sorry.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Try to be bilingual.
That means old lady.
Our driver's ed teacher was nicknamed the Silver Beaver, and he was a dude.
oh.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So I was super into scouts. Did that. That doesn't sound good. Super. Yeah. Moving on.
You did what?
But no, I got tons of awards for it. Like I did like there was like a super big like camping one where I camped like 250 nights in 1 year. Like it was crazy. Lots of hikes, lots of backpacking trips.
250 nights in a year.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I was a super scout. That doesn't get me the ladies.
Did you wear the uniform all the time and everything?
No.
No.
Did I hear that correct? He's a super scout?
Yeah.
You're not.
No, that's
Craig, what
Super Scout is what you would call the scout kid that would wear his uniform even to just like any activity.
Oh,
and like stuff like that.
like the Marines do when they get married. Like they wear their.
No,
their-
that's actually badass.
yeah, that's cool. But
I'm saying.
Yes,
what I'm
but
saying.
Just wore the sash around and
the not badass version of that.
The
Yes,
not
that's-
badass version.
yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
what I meant.
No, I didn't want to get bullied any more than I was.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, so right now that we touched, archery, and in July, mid-month
Second or third week.
of July, there's the Rockman Games.
right.
Are you gonna do that?
Did you-
Absolutely,
yeah.
I will. Yeah.
that's what
Did
I'm
you do it
about.
last year?
I didn't. No. After I decided to say, I'm going to do bow hunting, it was like in the middle of bow hunting season. All the other like 3D archery courses were done and definitely was not dialed in to do that. But luckily, I'm starting to get out to the ranges where it's like 90 yards and shooting and having fun, and so try and do that.
Yeah,
more.
we were at 5 yards.
We did pretty good. Well, I hit it.
I didn't.
Yeah, we were terrible.
Yeah, messing around. So last year when we did the show, we went and did we went to practice for the $1 million shot.
We did like a promo.
It was more of a joke than anything.
Yeah, it was
No.
it was kind of badly.
We
done,
went
but
we went to the archery place too. We got
that
we
one
got
on.
bows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, it's super fun, and like I said, the cool thing is like I didn't realize how big the community was. Like I didn't know that there's like banquets for it, like with tons of raffles and tons. Like it's big in this area, and I would have had no idea how big it was. And so the cool thing is going to like these other events and all those things, people are really just wanting to share with you. And it's the Upper Snake River Bowmen. That's their club. My coworkers, who are, one of them's like the president, they were talking with me about it. And this club has been around since like 1946.
holy shit!
But I mean, you go there and you just have fun, and the people are awesome. So yeah, no, it's been a fun experience. But I never thought that I'd love meeting the people as much as I did, and it all just kind of came back from goals.
Yeah.
So how are you learning? Like, is there somebody teaching you, or are you doing through videos, or do you go to a class, or?
I've learned from the Bud Robinson from Downwind.
Okay.
He's helped me a lot. And then some of my coworkers, they've been archery hunting since they were young guys. And so, but I've learned stuff from them. I've learned stuff from Bud. Sorry. Just tons and tons of people. And then lots of YouTube, tons of YouTube. There's so many people. I've learned how to like tune my bow from YouTube, all these things. So YouTube's just a really good place to learn nowadays. Like if you are trying to learn yourself, it's really good to go and have like a mentor. But there's so many, Facebook, I'm in like bow tuning groups, and there's people who make archery targets, and it's just kind of cool to see all the vast knowledge. And so, yeah, it's
Cool.
How spendy does it get? Because you're also into, so you've studied videography and all that. How does it compare?
Oh man, it's kind of like, it really is not the bow that makes you good. It's not the equipment. It's like, your cameras, like you have a camera that, is $1,000, and that's one of the same cameras that I use. And I've shown it to people, like, oh man, you must be filming on a crazy camera. It's really not. It's just basic. It's just how you use it, So like my bow that I'm using right now, the first bow I got it for like $300, and I got that when I was 14. And I used it all the way up until this year when I wanted to get a bow that could go up to 70 pounds, because that's what I want to hunt with. And I was looking around, and I found this bow for like $260, put the rest on it for another 60, a couple different sites. And so my bow setup is maybe like $500, but to still, I shoot super well. I shoot, all, these really far distances, but it comes down to practice. Yeah. I know a lot of people that they'll say, oh, like I started shooting, a few weeks ago before hunting season, and I really, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't doing that. So I've really been dedicating this entire year to, and whenever I have a day off or I have certain things, I really try to go and practice. So it's really helped a lot. Like I'll do different games. I really think my job for kind of having like group builder games and kind of gets me creative. So like on the fly, like, oh, I want to do, like one of them I did a card game where you'd shoot you'd shoot 3 arrows, me and the other person that was with me, and we shoot 3 arrows at these playing cards, and if you had a black card, it was positive points. If it was a red card, it was negative points. It was first one to positive or negative 50.
Yeah, I think I saw that short.
Yeah.
You had a short on
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, exactly. So, doing that, I've done battleship games, I've done all these other things, and when I take it back to the kids, they're like, how do you come up with this stuff? And it's like, I just get creative. I just have fun with it. And it's also led me down other little paths as well. Like, my dad, he was really good with like AutoCAD and things like that. So I kind of grew up with that designer mentality. And so lately I've actually been learning to 3D print. I've been making little 3D printed stuff that hopefully I'll start selling a little bit, just like a single arrow quiver that I'll use for 3D archery shoots. And people are like, oh man, that'd be great for hunting applications. And so,
Yeah.
but who would have thought that I would have started doing that from archery, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. When you learn a new craft or whatever, you can apply certain things that you learn to other stuff, and all of a sudden you're learning faster other things that you never thought you would even try.
Right.
So when you decided that you were going to start doing this, was it specifically, I'm not just I'm going to learn how to big game hunt, but I'm going to learn how to bow hunt big game?
Yeah, that was one of the big things that I never really hunted a ton, but bow hunting was something that, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really like reading when I was, you know, growing up, but then when I was maybe like 10, 13, that's way big of an age gap, like maybe 10 to 11, I found this book where the main character, he used a bow. And so I was like, man, I really want a bow. And so it inspired me, and I got a bow. And then, like I said, I'd go out to my dad's shop, and I would shoot 3 or 4 times a week for multiple hours at different ranges. And, you know, I just never went big game hunting. And so I'm like, you know what, let's get off the couch. Let's go accomplish this goal and just really go with it. And so it's kind of come back to it. Like, I want to hunt, but going back to my youth of, I had this goal, I never achieved it. Why not start now? Which is why I call it late season hunter, because, you know, I'm 27. It's not super late in age wise anyways, but to me, like, I'm way late to where I wanted to be hunting when I wanted to hunt when I was way younger.
Dude, you're like late.
The later season hunter.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
He's the oldest of us. So
like
we made
that-
fun of him by only like a year. So.
Like late season hunter
You're too
2.0.
Yeah. No, not even that. Just later. Just old. Yeah, just older. Yeah. That's all it is.
On the way out. Hunter.
Yeah. Like over the hill season hunter. I don't know, something to that. We'll figure it out later. But yeah. So, are you shooting anything besides compound bows? Like, are you doing anything with recurves? Or have you seen those guys with those crazy, like, heavy pole longbows and shit like that?
I've seen those. I've always wanted to try it. I actually have a coworker who's he's getting into making bows, or he wants to get into making bows. He's like, I want to try and make one of these 100-pound English longbows. I'm like, dude, when you make it, I'll try and shoot it. You know, like, I mean, it's crazy.
So you said you have a 70?
Yeah, I have a 70-pound compound. I have a 45-pound recurve. I use that one for grouse hunting and.
So that 70. Mm-hmm. What's a good range for a big game that you would feel comfortable shooting? The furthest, I want to say.
Well, it's kind of like the max.
Yeah.
You know, where does it become unethical? That probably depends on the shooter to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, I probably.
A yard for me.
He wants to pet it, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be tied to a stick.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Same. Jesus.
I felt pretty comfortable at probably 35, 40, but I worry, you know, most archery shots typically happen around 25 yards to like 35. And so, plus if it starts to get further than that, you get so much air time. It's not like a rifle where you can be 100 yards away and you pull the trigger and the bullet's there before you blink,
the sound, yeah.
But for me, you know, if I shoot the bow, if I like my bow right now, it's pretty slow, just because it's not really designed for me. I got it because I kind of need a new bow, but it's designed for long draw archers. But even at like 70 pounds, typically you get arrows that fly like 300 feet a second. Mine's barely breaking 250, so it's even slower than what the typical archer is. So
then the problem becomes that the animal starts to move before it even gets to it.
Correct.
And shit like that. Okay.
yeah.
And so what would you have to do to increase that speed? Practice or different bow or what?
I'll probably look into getting. I have a friend that's gonna buy my bow that he actually has the 31-inch draw. So for me, I'm 28 and a half, and so once that cam actually rotates over, that's what increases the speed of it. But because I'm stopping a third of the way through, I'm not going to get the full use of the cam.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you can get bows, you know, for pretty. I mean, it's interesting. My first bow, it's 60 pounds. I got it when I was, you know, 13, 14. Because the cam system the way it is, at 60 pounds, and the max draw length on that bow is 29 inches. 28 and a half is really good for it. So it actually shoots way faster than my new bow, just because it's designed with that cam in mind, with that draw length in mind. So it's probably closer to I think the last time I checked it was like 280. So that's a lot better, or yeah, probably 285. So it shoots a lot faster than what this bow does. But I got this bow mainly because I never shot like 70 pounds, and that's where I want to be hunting at, just because that's a very typical poundage that you'll find in a lot of bows, that, I mean, you're going to get probably awesome results from.
So it's is it maxed out at that speed then? Like, can you change? I don't know shit about compound bows.
Yeah,
so like, could you
that's what I
change
was
the
asking
cams and get it faster, or do you have to change the bow? Is it the arm length? Like, what's
Are there arrows that are more aerodynamic? Or?
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of factors. You
can buy all sorts of different arrows. Yeah, that shit gets crazy.
I mean, I have like a normal standard size arrow that it's basically what most people will shoot with, but now they're starting to get into like the micro diameters where it's like 4 millimeters, and I mean, you get arrows that are flying, way faster, because your arrow, the shaft just for me right now, I think it's like 400 grams plus, then I put on the or 300 grams, then I put on the 100 gram filled tip, and you have the nock, and so it all equals out to like 418. But a lot of people are actually getting down to like 300, 350 grained arrows. So I mean, they're booking fast, and you'll get speeds like, I think one of the top ones, one of the bows I've seen this year, one of the top speeds I've seen out of it is like 336 feet a second. Like, it's speeding fast. But I mean, it all kind of comes down to what you want. But the price of the bow, I mean, at some point, it kind of, you won't get more because you have a more expensive bow. You might get some other features where it's like, oh yeah, maybe the draw cycle is a little bit smoother here, or maybe the let off is way easier. But there's so many different things that you put in the factors, then you put in your arrows, and you put on your fletchings, and you put on the different tips and all. There's a lot of math and science going on, but there's like, I think his name's Leap Outdoors on YouTube. He goes through and he makes a huge, like, he has all these different things where he's talking about like the way the arrow corrects itself as it leaves the bow, and all these different things to make your bow faster or increase the, all the aerodynamics. So there's a lot of math to it, way more than what I'll put into it. I just want a little bit faster bow for when my hunting season comes around.
In order to get that, you're going to have to upgrade the bow. It's going to be a different bow that you're going to get.
Different bow.
Okay.
What's that company that we were sort of talking to getting bows?
Hoyt
Hoyt
is one.
Hoyt?
Matthews.
Yeah. Hoyt, Matthew, Bowtech, PSE.
There's another one that starts with a B, isn't there?
Bitch.
I don't think it's bitch.
Trying to think. I'm thinking of there's Diamond by Bowtech. I can't.
Hoyt is the one that we talked to that we're gonna reach out to.
Yeah, Hoyt. They have a lot of my coworkers love Hoyt. I'm a person that likes to get super into the nitty gritty and like tuning the bow myself. So I'll be looking at like a Bowtech.
Because you like to know what you're putting in.
Yeah. Like there's one thing that I really like where you can actually take and move the cams left and right to really just fine tune, dial it in, so you get the most perfect arrow flight possible. And they have a couple different models. Like they have like their speed bow that, I mean, it's cooking fast. Even with like a 400 grain arrow, it's still about 300 feet a second.
Damn.
400 or 500 grain arrow. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make that my thing this year, to learn how to bow hunt.
I think
learn how to use a bow.
Hoyt and bear archery are the
bear.
ones.
Why did I shoot a bear?
That's the one he has right now.
That's the one I have right now.
That was the one I had in mind. I was like, it's Hoyt and something that starts with a B. Yeah.
What am I thinking? I feel like I've been like, oh yeah, I love bear. I'm actually going to be getting a bear.
Nice.
That would probably be like the bow that people are really saying for like a dollar to dollar price value. It's called the Bear Alaskan XT, and it's fast. It's really great for because different places with like Midwestern hunters and West hunters and Eastern hunters, how we hunt a lot more. Like in the West, we walk around a lot more. We don't really we do have tree stand people, but a lot more hiking and shooting, and so they designed this bow so it's pretty. I mean, it's still like 33-inch axle, but it's like 330.
That's like from top to bottom.
Yep. It still shoots like 339 feet a second or 36 feet a second. So it's pretty fast, but it has all of the integrated mounts where it has like the Picatinny mounts, and there's a lot of technology that, from my first bow to now, way smoother draw cycles. If you have like a bad shoulder, like I don't have super awesome shoulders.
You used to have a bad shoulder.
Yeah, so when I tried to get into it, I had just barely got shoulder surgery.
Yeah. So like Bear might honestly be a really good option for you because they have the single cam bows, and the single cam, even at 70 pounds, it feels like I'm pulling back like 55. Oh, shit. So, it.
Yeah, now I think I'm good.
Yeah, he's like Jax.
He heals really fast. It's weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Remember Jax from Mortal Kombat?
Yes. You got the metal arms? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was just hoping somebody knew.
No, I got you. I was there. Yeah.
So, yeah, but there's so many things that I've just been learning, and, learning deer place, where to actually shoot and all those things. Cause I probably could have, I had trained enough that I probably could have gone out and hunt last year. But the problem was that I just didn't have that confidence yet. So me doing like these 3D shoots, going to like these league competitions, a lot of times just being on the line and having people watch you. Giving that pressure that you don't really get just at the range, shooting for fun, not really like, oh, I miss. But sometimes, we have little challenges that they do, and you have everyone like just looking at you, and you're like, ooh, and so it's really good to like have that anxiety of, that you're probably going to experience hunting. And that's one of the big things that people say is go to these events so you can actually get the anxiety, so it makes you more comfortable.
See, that's probably what it was when we went out there. I was anxious. Like, I had anxiety. That's why I sucked.
So you need to do it a bunch more times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get a bow.
I almost got one last year.
What's the... no, sorry. Continue.
No, it was just fun when we went up
It
there.
was fun. I was shooting with my cast on, huh?
Yeah,
With your-
you were
with your
like,
sling,
you were
or-
like, he was
Out
like
of my
holding the
sling.
bow almost at his hip,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah,
like
and I was
turning
doing
his
this and
body.
just- yeah.
Yeah.
He was like hip shooting a bow, and
Yeah.
he
Because
still
I had
did
my
better than
sling
everybody
on.
else.
That's right, because my surgery was in May.
Yeah.
In July is when we were doing that.
Yeah.
June is when we were doing that video. July is when the thing was, I think.
Shit.
Something like that.
Yeah, but now,
I think we did that video before the 4th of July.
so. Our goal is going to be
We should do a collaboration video, and then you can teach us.
Sure. Yeah.
to get bows to be able to shoot that course.
Oh fuck, we're gonna run out of time real fast.
We should get going then.
That means
okay.
we hurry.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's just been a fun experience, and it's been really cool for me as I go back. Like the kids are like, hey, have you filmed another video? And
That's cool. Have that sort of that motivation.
right, they really take like not only do they do that. Most kids, my generation younger, we grow up on YouTube. And so they're sitting there like, oh man, like when you did that, it kind of reminded me of this person. You should do this next time you do your video. And so it's kind of inspired them to do stuff. And that's where it all kind of comes back to is like, I'm not really doing this just to just hunt. I'm doing it to kind of go back and help my kids because when people ask me about my job, I work in a juvenile correction facility. When people ask me like what got them there, they're thinking about all the crimes and all the other stupid stuff that happened.
Yeah, it's a lot. That comes in a lot into play.
What it comes down to is that they didn't have coping skills and they didn't have hobbies to replace the negative ones. And so like I do cooking classes, I do like my minor in college was film production, so I've taken all my video lights and like, hey, let's set up an interview. Let's do this. Well, like I said, I might have ADHD. I just have tons of hobbies. So it's like, hey, let's talk about disc golf. Okay, let's do this. Because when they get out of there, it's great that they've changed the behaviors to feel more successful.
they still need stuff to do.
Exactly. And so you can't really just say, oh, yeah, we're going to take you out of the environment and we're going to put you back and we're not going to have your mind be focused on something else, So that's where all of this kind of came back to.
And I think a lot of those kids, the guidance too, having a role model. Some of them didn't have it.
Yeah.
I would imagine most of them there don't.
Yeah.
And
so
I think that's a big part.
So I really take a lot of time to, teach classes and talk with them and like these past couple weeks, I've been on midnight shifts, and so I don't really get to work with them. But I come in and I'll like tell them different life stories that I've gone through and what I learned from them, and how that applies back to program. And I really enjoy our program because it's not like a detention center, or it's not like normal prison in that sense of like you kind of go there, you wait your time, and you get out. It's really their time to learn the skills to become more successful. Like it's called positive peer culture, and basically what it is that they are in control. They are the ones who confront the problems. They're the ones who, step up and say, hey, this is hurting you. This is really not going to help you in your life. Let's work on this problem together. And that's one of the big reasons why, because I always wanted to work in juvenile corrections, but when I learned about this program, when I applied to it and started seeing what it was, it really gives them the skills to feel confident standing up to negative in their life and the stuff around them. And so, like one of the kids I'm super proud of, he just barely went home. He got his GED while he was there, and he was talking with his brother, and he's like, hey, you didn't graduate high school, but I want you to get your GED. I really want you to. And I went to his release court, and his brother was like, you know what? He inspired me to do my GED. And I'm just so grateful for him now being the leader. And when he came into the program, one of the big things that he struggled with was standing up for himself. Like he a lot of his stuff was because he was just along for the ride. And so he basically gained the skills to take control and say, no, I want to be positive. I want to do these good things. And it's bled into his family. And that's a really good feeling, like even though like you have those days that suck, because you're like, man, what are you guys doing? You guys are worth so much more. To see them make that change, and it's almost like a light switch where they make that change. You're like, you know what? You're going to do good. You can do good. You have the ability to do good. And so I take all this stuff and go back to them and say, hey, here's something else that you could try when you start to feel down. Archery, it's such a good stress reliever for me. Like I can't be focusing on every little thing. I have to be focused on the target. I have to be focused in the moment. I can't be thinking about what else is going on. It just gets me out of it. And that's one of the things like Fred Bear, from Bear Archery. I believe the quote is, there's nothing more calming than the feel of a bow. That's basically what it is. And I totally agree.
So aside from the equipment, so you got your bow, you got your arrow, you got all your targets and stuff. What about like shooting a bow is not like shooting a rifle.
Right.
There's a lot more. It seems like there's a lot more mechanics. There's a lot more things that can go wrong.
Whew. Yeah.
It seems like way more difficult than rifle. How? Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, Jesus.
I didn't say anything.
I did.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No.
Oh, fuck you, Leo. Anyway, so how do you?
It's not the same.
Like, do you have a process for your shot, and like, where did you learn it from? I guess like is there like a program or what? How do you do that?
I mean, even bad technique you can do really good, like as long as you're repetitive with it, So one of the things that, Bud from Downwind, he told me was always having anchor points. So when you pull back every single time I draw, I actually take and make like a C with my hand and put it right there. So every single time I go to shoot, before I do anything else, this has to go here before I even like put my nose to my string. It always has to go there, because if not, it's all out of alignment. And with that, I mean, it took me from, shooting and maybe on like a normal target where I would, be trying to aim for the center. Maybe I'd get 1 out of every 5 shots in the center, to now I basically am getting almost all the shots in the center in like a 1.5-inch group at 20 yards. Not even 1.5 inches. They're all just neck and neck. And so, I mean, the technique, having someone to tell you like, hey, anchor points, hey, the way you're drawing, and even people, even though like some people, they say, oh, don't read the comments on YouTube. So I'm like, hey, your form is terrible. This is a person to go look at and see, because he's a really good instructor. The other thing is, there's a guy, his name's Joel Turner. He has a website called Shot IQ. He really talks about when you're aiming, when a lot of times when I would first start out, I'd take my bow and I'd draw it up in the sight. I'd kind of like float into it. And the moment I get to on the target, I'd just yank the trigger and fly, and maybe hit the center, maybe it'd be all over the place. He's like, a lot of us, we get afraid of the center. And so we're waiting, and it feels like it's a 1,000,000 pounds bow that you're trying to lift up. And he's like, take a pen, find the thing in the room, and just put the pen tip on it. And even if that pen tip is floating around, you're still going to go back to that center. And basically now when I go to shoot, I just lift up that bow, put it on that thing. And even if it's floating around, I'm way more accurate because I'm putting it there where it needs to be and shooting. And so he spent probably, I think he had 15 years or 20 years in the military. And then he's been doing this for like 10. And he just goes all over the country, just talking to people about, just do it, put it there. Don't be afraid. And the other big thing is there's a human instinct to not want impact, right? Like if we know that impact is coming, we tend to brace up for it. And in bows, even as you go to like shoot or a gun,
whatever,
exactly.
Just like guns, yeah.
Like with rifles, it's a big thing. Yeah.
Like you can have in a machine, you could have the gun shoot over and over and over in the same exact spot, right? So the gun's accurate, but then you put it in someone's hand that doesn't shoot, and they're like, and they'll freaking shoot, and it'll be 5 feet off, and you're like, what? I just saw it hit the center every single time, right? And so we have that in our mind, hey, this is gonna come, and it's going to throw me off, and it's gonna do that, and we brace for it. He really focuses on like, it's gonna come, why fight it? You know that it's gonna happen. Why fight that thing? Just hold through and actually let that be a surprise. So now when I wrap my finger on the trigger and I squeeze through with my shoulder instead of actually using the finger to apply the pressure, I pull back with my shoulder. And so I don't really know when the arrow is going to go off, but because I have the target or the sight on the target and it's always in that spot, I'm actually going to shoot 9 times out of 10 in the center because I'm squeezing through. And so that's really helped me get more confidence.
You can't flinch if you don't know when it's going to go off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so,
Cool.
yeah. And
I've heard of that shot IQ before.
Yeah, it's really good. And Joe Rogan actually brought that Joel Turner guy onto his podcast not too long ago. And he's like, you kind of talked about something that it goes way further than archery and rifle shooting. That thing of like in life, you think this bad thing's going to happen. You prepare for it, and it's actually a lot worse because you've prepared for it. But if you go with it, knowing that something's going to happen, that's what's going to be. And so one of the things I tell my kids that I can only guarantee 3 things in life: the now, change, and death. Because we don't know when change is going to happen, but we can prepare that change is going to happen, right? And so I really try really hard for my kids. Hey, you can't plan your day to go perfect. You never can. Like a couple days or about a week ago, I went to the archery range just to sight on my bow and do all these things. And as I was there, a car comes flying into the parking lot, and this mother jumps out of her car and she reaches into the backseat and pulls out her baby, and the baby's not breathing. And so luckily with my job, I actually have the skills to, perform CPR and things like that. So I run over, I'm like, please, let me help you. I'm trained. I can do this. And, I just jumped in because I had those skills that no matter what, if the time comes down to it where I have to act, I want to be prepared for it. And so I share this with my kids, like, you don't know what life's going to throw at you. But if you aren't prepared for it, don't even bother, because you will fail or you will tense up and you won't know what to do. But I'm grateful that my job actually gave me that confidence that, hey, something could happen. They do these constant refreshes that make you go, hey, something could happen. I mean, I've seen kids choke at the facility. I've seen, different, there's been some very negative experiences that have happened. But because we have those trainings to prepare us for unexpected change,
I'm assuming the baby was okay.
Yep, the baby was okay. The baby, yeah.
This is over here just dying.
Yeah, no.
What happened?
Yeah, because if it wasn't, this would have gone south.
It was very. I was just grateful for that I wasn't grateful that the baby was not breathing, but
we understand.
He's like, I did the CPR. It didn't work, but I knew how to do it.
It was so awesome. Like,
yeah.
I was there, I did everything right. It is what it is.
But sorry, no, you're right. I left you at a really bad cliffhanger, but like it was. I'll say that I've never been more relieved to hear a baby cry.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, and
that's awesome though.
Yeah. So I keep.
It's cool for a few seconds, and they're like, "All right, lady, take it."
Yeah, but
I bet I can't even imagine that.
That would suck. Poor mom.
Yeah, no, it was. I was just grateful to be there, and after like the adrenaline was like, I just performed CPR on a baby. Like it was.
Yeah,
super,
I bet you that the after
pretty uncommon.
Was,
yeah, no, it was definitely. And as I kept on. I was at the range for a little bit longer, trying to decompress and keep shooting and get out. But I walked back into the place to the range. I was actually with Bud and his wife Kathy. They're amazing people. Kathy was like, "Hey, I just want you to know that they actually called back to see if you were still here because they really wanted to say thank you." Like
Wow.
they were beyond grateful.
Yeah, I bet.
No, I can't imagine, man.
Yeah, baby, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But it's I tell the kids that unexpected things happen all the time, and you gotta prepare for it, and you've got to learn.
Go with the flow.
Even if something negative happens, 3 years ago, I was coming back from work, and there was a crazy accident where a car rolled, and one of the girls was thrown from the vehicle, while the other one was in the car. It just really bad, and I actually was in there until the paramedics showed up, and I was holding her neck and stabilizing until they could put the C collar on. But the girl that was ejected from the car, like she didn't make it. But that experience, it kind of puts into your mind that doubt of like, could I ever? Because I do want to do paramedic school. That experience, like, man, could I ever do that? Could I ever do that? Would I, if I ever saw this experience again, would I pull over and jump out to help? Because I pulled off. I drove up on the wreck. It probably happened 30 seconds before, and it definitely made you go like, hey, like this is a time to go. And even though I was doing everything that I'd been trained to do to the best of my abilities, my job is amazing, where they teach us these basic first responder stuff, and I did everything right to my best ability that the courses and trainings could do, but that doesn't mean it's always gonna to work out.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful to know, especially 3 years now from that, that I do have the confidence because I knew that, hey, something else could happen. Are you gonna freeze up and think about this negative experience, or are you going to act? Yeah. And I'm glad I acted a week ago. And so it's just, I've never been more grateful for change and preparing for change. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I'm out of bow questions. That was. Everybody just looked at me all of a sudden. I don't know,
because I thought you were gonna say something.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking about that. That's
yeah.
Like CPR is a pretty low. Most of the time, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like it's a low percentage,
right?
Like of success,
right?
And so the fact that it did is just the fact that somebody knew how to do it first of all.
Yeah.
And the lady showed up where somebody knew how to do it. That's
there was
like
just
a whole lot of things had to go right for that to go right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've taken a class, right? The one we did up here.
We did a first aid class and we did a stop the bleed class, and we've done some pretty basic training as far as like first aid goes, but
yeah.
And you think you're gonna do it, but like you said, you don't know until it happens whether you're gonna act or you're just gonna freeze.
Yeah. And one of the things after I got done, the next day I went and told my kids about it. And I'm like, guys, you're gonna go back home to shitty situations, unfortunately. Dude. As much like that's the hard part is like you see these kids grow, you see them become amazing young people, and they go back and they get put back into those things. And so it's like, guys, are you going to only think about those negative things about how you failed? Or are you going to say, I failed, but I now have the skills to do good?
Correct.
And so, and I just really try hard to push everything I do back on them. I tell the kids, I'm not here to be your staff. I'm here to be a friend that pushes you. I'm here. Unfortunately, there's times where I feel like I have to be a father figure that, you can look up to. But at the end of the day, you're going to go home and you've got to learn to stand on your own feet. And are you going to freeze up and go negative, or are you going to be a man or a woman and step up?
Do you have both genders there with?
Yep, we do. We have a girls unit. We call them cottages. It's a really awesome facility. I wish they could allow the public to do like tours of it, because the way that we run the facility, it's the kids that are more in charge, and I'm just more a facilitator saying, "Okay, guys, what's the problem? What's the issue? Why are we struggling with this?" And when they see a problem, they actually circle up and they're like, "Hey, what's the problem? Do we see this as a problem? Is this, are you accountable for your actions?" And if they say no, then we'll wait. We'll say, "Okay, we aren't moving from this until you can see like what you did is actually hurting you and your future, and hurting us in the process, because we as a group need to go forward in positive actions."
It's basically there's a lot of like team type mentality and a lot of like military type mentality where if like one person fucks up, everybody's in trouble.
Yeah. And they hate that. They hate that.
When somebody's about to fuck up, they'll all jump in.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about, right? Is when they go into group, is like somebody's about to do something and somebody knows and they're like, "Hey, we're not doing this. We're going to do this thing."
Yeah. No, they work really hard. And don't get me wrong, you still get the occasional negative thing where the kids will take apart a pen and maybe try and tattoo themselves or whatever. Like, it's like, what are you doing?
That's not wrong.
Feels like
I mean, you probably won't get hepatitis from your tattoos though. So
fair enough.
But it's stupid things, and you just go, do you feel the regret from what you did? All the little, I can't say anything about tattoos. Some of them, they come in with moppy hair and people are like, "Oh, your hair is unpresentable." I'm like, "Oh, shit, look at my hair." I don't really care like that. Your hair doesn't define you. Your tattoos doesn't define you. It's your actions, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, it comes down to you and how you present yourself, because if you go through it and you're not a good person, no one wants to work with you again. I can say that a lot of the times where I felt the most successful was the interactions with people that I've worked with, and I'm extremely grateful to be here today. I hope that if you guys are like, "Hey, you get your bows. Dylan, let's go out to the range and shoot," and he can teach, or I would love to do that, but awesome. You guys wouldn't want me to do that if I came on here and was a douchebag, like that.
Yeah, no,
yeah, that's true.
True.
But
we would let you know.
Yeah,
we're pretty
if you
good.
were a douchebag, we'd tell you.
Yeah, good.
I'll definitely tell you.
Is it legal to discharge a bow in city limits?
Yeah.
Can you shoot in your backyard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would just make sure that the people behind you are aware of it.
Or you're shooting just in a safe direction, as long as you have something and you have a backstop.
We have like 1 million acres back here that you can.
Yeah.
I'm saying in my backyard.
Yeah, your backyard, you have that big field. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have 1 million
totally fine.
acres behind your yard too.
There's 2 acres behind my yard.
I have a Mormon church behind my yard. So
yeah, you're fine. Just don't shoot on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Monday night or Tuesday night.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Or Wednesdays.
Sometimes Wednesdays.
Sometimes Wednesdays,
Yeah, that's true.
But no, and the nice thing, we live in an awesome state where we have one of the highest open to the public areas that you can go and shoot at. So there'll be times where I'll just go out to the closest public land place, which is 11 minutes away from me, and throw out my target and just start shooting.
That's right. There's places down by Sunny Downs where you can just go and
shoot. That one's free.
Go shoot.
Mm-hmm. No, that one's I think that's South Fork Archers. It's like a club thing, but I think it's $30 to join the club. And
oh, really? Because maybe they have a fucking pass.
Yeah, they have.
I just see people pull up there and it's just open and you walk in.
Yeah, there's
set up there.
I think they have a little gate. One time I went there, I had no idea. I was 17, and the gate was open. I drove in there, I was shooting. And this guy pulls up "Hey, are any of you guys of the thing?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "If you're not part of it, you need to get over." I'm like,
I saved a baby, damn it.
Let
me shoot.
You saved baby before, asshole?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
You should pull your...
That's my pass.
Your pass, yeah.
Here's
my pass, look.
But
saved a baby once, yeah.
Yeah, so, but so a lot of the time...
I would use that.
I would, absolutely. I would use that the rest of my life.
I would have started with that story.
The next week, I would have worn a cape to work the next week.
Yeah. No, it's... But, a lot of times you'll go out there and there's people that help you like tune your bow. They might give you tips. Hey, why is this not working? And that's the cool thing. Like the more I've done research with all of this, like there's so much I didn't realize about like the outdoor conservation program where, like if you spend money in the outdoor sector, that money goes back to it. It's like the best government program. Like it has to go back to it. It's like in its law, like, hey, you spend money for outdoor conservation, 100% of it has to go back into land management, all these things. And they spend tons of money that you give them. So it all has to go back into it because, I mean, hunting is an American heritage, honestly. Like you think back to if you think about America, hunting, that's what most people grew up on. That's how people got their food. hunting
The cost of hunting in the U.S. is
it has gone up
pennies
a ton
compared to what it is in other countries.
Yeah.
Yes, it's more expensive now than it was 10 years ago, but that's beside the point. Try to hunt in
It's not
England
expensive
or
when you get
Germany,
something,
like
right.
it's
Well, yeah.
thank you.
In the UK,
I didn't mean it because of Craig.
yeah, you did.
yeah, in the UK,
but again,
they're coming out with a law that they don't even want them shooting at targets that resemble animals, which is
Oh yeah.
which like what
What do you shoot at? Them?
We were talking about
plates.
There's a couple of times we went to Germany for a
Plates with
trade show
antlers.
there, and we were talking to these dudes from Austria and Germany, and they were talking about how difficult it is in some of those countries to own a gun. You have to be a member of a gun club, which is expensive there. It's not
You
like,
have to leave the gun there at the club.
Yeah. So it's not like the gun range in Rexburg that's like $5
Right.
to just go shoot for a while. Like no, you have to be a member of this exclusive club
Which
that
is
costs
really expensive.
like hundreds of bucks a month.
Right.
Then you've got to store your gun there.
Right.
You have to store your ammo in a separate safe,
And
which
you
you're
have to pay
basically
for
renting the
you're
location.
renting both locations. Yep.
Then maybe after a few years of this, maybe you can get a hunting license, which is also expensive as fuck. Then to go hunting, you have to rent the land that you're going to hunt on, whether it's public or private. You have to pay to get the tag. All of those things cost way more than it costs here.
Right.
All of them. And
Yeah.
then eventually,
I
maybe
think
you can
one
take
of
your
them
gun home.
costs more than it costs to hunt here.
Yeah.
Just one of those little things.
It's insane. It's insane. And this is one of the only countries where you can hunt for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I for me to go and get the bow hunter and the normal hunter certification, I think it was like maybe like $30, and then you just had to basically renew your license every single year. But I mean,
The tags are 15 or 20.
Yeah.
but it's not. That's
Depending
not
on-
much
that's
money.
nothing,
It's
though.
not much money.
yeah, and so I mean, it's really cool to like learn and study because when I was growing up, yeah, I was doing small things, with hunting. But now that I'm older and I'm actually doing the research and learning, you realize that it's really a heritage thing. And so, part of all of the, the interviews, one of the questions is like, who are you? What are you doing? Like, who are you? Why are you a hunter? Why are you in the outdoors industry? Why are you doing these things? Like, what is your goals with it? Because eventually, who knows what's going to happen? That could be what we rely on. We rely on the people to start hunting again. We, I mean, with the cost of meat going up, I mean, there's so many different things. And, some people, when they talk about hunting, I mean, there's a huge thing for like the trophy hunters. But I think people still forget that a lot of people are the meat hunters. They go out
Craig
there
is definitely one.
they go out there to put meat in their freezer, and so
And that's what I meant when I said it's really not expensive if you actually harvest an animal.
yeah,
Because you get a big buck
Right.
or a big elk. That's a full year's worth of meat.
yeah,
And paying the hunter is what makes it expensive. Because we go out, buy these expensive camos, there's the best rifle, the best scopes, the best, we make it expensive.
Right.
If you get a rifle, a decent scope, and use that for years.
There's still some old school guys out there hunting with fucking open sights.
open sights and flannels.
Like I said, like I
Like-
said, so we make it expensive, but in all honesty, it's not expensive.
Right.
But you got the razors, you got the rangers, you got the trucks, you got the trailers, you got, we make it expensive.
Right.
But it's really not bad.
Yeah, but it's such a huge community. Like when I posted a couple videos, like, oh yeah, I'm starting to do this. There's people like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that you're doing this. Like I didn't know that you're a hunter. I'm actually a hunter, and I was like, I didn't know you were a hunter either. And so people were actually coming out of the woodworks, like, hey, do this, try this.
But I'm pretty sure you have those people like, oh my God, you're going to kill animals.
Yeah, probably. There's some like, what are you doing? You know, like, but you know, it's cool because even like, my wife, so my father-in-law, he is now like, he's a nurse, and he was talking with one of his coworkers, and he's like, he's a big bow hunter. And so like my father-in-law, he's been like, hey, what bow should I get? What should I get? You know what? I'm like, well, when I come down and see you in Arizona, let's go to a range. Let's find a place for you to test out a bow, see what fits you, what fits your style, what fits your, what you want to do.
Is there places here local where you can go rent different bows?
I don't know about renting them, but I know.
So you can test different ones?
Yeah, you can definitely go and test. Like I said, there's the Mountain Archery in Rexburg. There's stuff, the Downwind, and there's Archery Idaho over off Northgate Mile. They have so many stuff. I mean, used bows. I mean, if you get a bow from the years, like probably late or like early 2010s to now, a lot of times you can still find parts for used bows that are like really good. You can still do awesome stuff with them. And so, like you said, it's as expensive as you want it. Like right now, my bow setup that I've been loving, enjoying, and gaining more experience with, I think grand total of it is like $500. And I mean, my dad, he likes coming out and shooting with me as well. He got a bow about the same time when I was younger, and he didn't really shoot a whole bunch except when I was shooting. But he comes out with me all the time now, and he's like, hey, I like it because, I have my arrows. Yeah, we're just shooting at the targets for the league night. But once you have the bow, once you have the arrows, unless you break an arrow, I mean, it's pretty cheap.
Just getting out there and
and it's fun. It's fun to just bullshit with people at the range. And
when we did that show up in Kelly's, one of the guys that was with us, he was more into bow hunting, and he would tell us like, oh shit, that setup right there, that's at least $4,000 or $5,000. Remember?
Yeah. No, it's pretty fun. But I have coworkers that he has a pretty basic setup, but he uses it all the time. He's a dead shot at like 90 yards. Like he'll just go out and like there's a competition, or not really a competition, but like the 3D archery shoot meet a few weeks ago. And at the very end, there was like a shot that you could like pay to do, kind of like what was at the Rockman's game. That it was 90 yards away, and he was trying to hit like a little orange target that you'd use for your gun, but if you hit it, it was like it'd put you in a pot for whatever amount of money was in for the thing, and he was like 3 inches off of it at 90 yards, and it was super windy. So to still be able to do that with the wind and having a bow that's probably from like 2009 or something, I mean, some people make the excuse like, you gotta have the newest, you gotta have the best, no, you don't. You really don't. So this comes down to the person who's going to take the time. Like this guy, I think right now he's prepping to go turkey hunt and bear hunt with his bow, and he's leaving like next week. And so, that's his entire life. Part of the club is that they have like an end of the year, like where they, at the banquet, they're like best buck, best elk, best this. And then they're like the best overall species kills. And it's like how many species you shot. So, I mean, some people will include like shooting like a field mouse with their bow, which is it's pretty incredible. Like
that would be pretty
like,
difficult.
They're sitting there like there's a mouse, and they'll like staple it to the ground, and
fun. You should try
so bad right now.
You should try to make your goal to shoot a turkey with a bow.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
He's good at killing turkeys.
I'm good at shooting birds.
good.
Not good at shooting bigger things.
Yeah.
When his shotguns work.
Yeah. Seriously.
Craig's had some fucking
I've had
fun
some,
with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that problem is solved. Mossberg, man, two in a row, failed almost
Two
immediately,
shotgun,
Wow.
and then I traded it for a Beretta, and I've been happy.
Good. But yeah, no, it kind of comes down to you and all the practice and all the stuff. And like, I feel really confident now. Like when I went to do the 3D shoot, I mean, I felt really confident at the 50 and 60 yard mark, but I wouldn't have felt that confident if I never did it.
What's funny about when you listen to people who shoot bows a lot and they practice, and anytime they miss a shot, it's their fault. Something they did wrong. Something was their fault. It's not their equipment. It's not their sights. It's not their. It's their fault. But in guns, a lot of people they come back to, my scope is off. This gun is messed up, or this needs fixed or cleaned, and it's not. It's almost like you hear more accountability out of bow hunters or bow shooters than gun shooters when they fail.
You're gonna have a whole bunch of gun shooters in your comments, be like, yeah, whatever, man.
Well, I mean, it's not everybody, obviously,
Right.
but a lot of people, their first thought will be, "What's wrong with my gun? What's wrong with my gun?" And I'll have the same issue. I've had the same issue where I've been like, "What's wrong with my gun?" But you don't hear that as much from bow shooters. Most of the time, if they miss something, they're like, "Oh, I pulled it, or I did this wrong, or I didn't hit my cheek the way I was supposed to, or whatever." When you're explaining how you set up your shot, they'll be like, "Oh, I did this part wrong, and that's why I missed."
Yeah.
And not because of anything to do with their equipment.
Yeah. A lot of times when I miss and fail, it's because, like I said, my first thing of the anchor points, when I first draw back the bow, if I'm not hitting my anchor point, 90% of the people, if they're experienced with bows, they'll realize I'm in a bad spot, and they let down, and they're like, okay, come back to center, pull back, and then they'll shoot. Like, they really do, like kind of what you said, that accountability, like, I am not in the right spot to shoot. And so, yeah, it's been a really cool opportunity. It's been a really cool experience. And my coworkers, they've been awesome, because they're like, hey, I see you're going hunting. Do you know anything about this? Do you know where to go hunt? Do you know where to do this? There's an app for it that you can download that will really help you know where the public land is, so that you can go and do this. And so, yeah, it's been great, And so I've had a ton of fun with it, and it's been fun to document it and meet new people, and all of that just led me to here today, So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to
I
do
see
the
you
bow.
move here, so I assume you're.
Oh,
gonna
so you
ask
keep
something.
looking at me?
Yeah,
That's why you're doing that. I'm like, why do you
Yeah.
keep looking at me?
yeah, because I see you move like
No,
you're
I just-
about to say something. So
No, I'm just adjusting.
we'll stop.
Sorry. I will stop adjusting. Well, I'm going to hold still the rest of the show.
No,
Just
you
dead
can't.
eye into
You
the
can't.
camera.
I don't think you can.
just gonna do this.
I can't do it.
No, you're right. I can't. That's
Hope
like
you
last-
viewers enjoy the show as you're like just staring right at him, just dropping
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
face.
Luckily, I'm
But,
far enough away that it wouldn't even matter.
I
But
can.
no, I'm interested in definitely trying something out like that.
Yeah, like I said, and if you're in this area, I mean, like I said, go out to downwind. Downwind, Bud will really he'll spend a ton of time with you. He has.
Do they sell bows and stuff there too?
Absolutely, they do. They have. I think they have Bowtech, Darton. Darton's really good. Like you can get awesome stuff with Darton for pretty budget to upper price that really you're like, oh man, I could use this for years and years and years. Yeah, Darton, PSE, Bowtech, Diamond. Diamond's great for women and children, a whole bunch. Like that's what they mainly cater to, because they know that that's the future. And so,
The
but
one
that's
finger salute.
Culero.
yeah, that's. I mean, I started with Diamond, and I think
He started with Diamond.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Like, cool.
yeah. No, I love it.
Do they sell bear archery there too?
They used to. I think you could probably ask if they can get in the bow. Al Sporting Goods in Idaho Falls as well. They love bear. Like that's probably where I'll either get it from there or the Mountain Archery, because they just got bear as well.
And Al actually has good prices on their stuff.
Yeah, Al's
Yeah,
is great.
Al's usually does have good prices.
That's the one that was where Toys R Us used to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. No, Al's is great, and they have. I really like Al's. They have tons of other hunting apparel as well, and they have really good prices. They're always doing deals and sales, and so, I mean, yeah. So I mean, you can, like I said, you can get anything. Just go out, shoot, have fun, meet new people.
Yeah, I think my main thing would be to test like what size would fit. Like,
Yeah.
What?
I mean, if I could recommend anything, I'd get a bow that you can. I mean, some people say, oh, you need to get the top of the line bow because you're going to get the most out of it longevity wise. However, maybe you don't like archery. I would look at something like maybe like a Bear. They have like their cheaper bows, like the Species or the Adapt. The Adapt is the big one that a lot of people get with the single cam. That's super smooth to draw back. But I mean, you can either get it in a 45 to 60 pounds. So, if you're getting into it and you're not quite sure and you need to build up those muscles, 60 pounds is still super awesome. but it also has draw lengths that go out to like 30.5 inches or 31 inches. And so, I mean, it fits most people. Not 45. I think 40 is the minimum legal limit in Idaho to actually bow hunt. And so that bow, I mean, you could use it for a long time. That's kind of why I got this bear. So they had two options where there's like a 45 to 60 or a 55 to 70. And I got the 55 to 70 one because I knew that I wanted to. But you're a big guy. You could probably shoot, the 55 and be just fine, and you'd still get awesome speeds out of your bow. But,
What's the first animal that you're gonna hunt?
probably mule deer. And then I'm also going to go out as soon as I possibly can and start grouse hunting.
If you do archery, can you shoot either sex?
I think so. I think you just need a tag for it.
I do not know. I don't know shit about that.
Because if I got into it and I was gonna in my first game, I'd probably go whitetail.
Yeah,
if you could shoot,
that
like
would be my
bottom.
thought too. Is probably whitetail.
River bottom.
Yeah.
If you could do river bottom,
river
either
bottoms would
sex,
probably be a little
absolutely.
easier than mule deer.
Yeah, you can just get the tag for
But
it.
I'm not sure if it's either sex or not.
Yeah.
We'll look it up for you.
Yeah, I think so.
So
Mule deer or elk, that will probably be the big two. And then next year I'll probably try and do turkey and maybe bear. I have people that they do that, and I'd go out with them and do those things. But
there's something I was just gonna ask. I forgot it. Yeah. So what type of things can you not use on a bow in Idaho for hunting?
electronics.
Electronics, yeah.
Yep.
Any kind of electronics.
Yeah,
period.
like they don't even like if your bow has like a little light to turn on so you can see your sights better. They don't really like that.
Okay.
But
what about the lighted Nox? Does that consider an electronic
you can
thing,
use
or
lighted
no?
Nox. I know people who use lighted Nox. They love those.
But lasers and
Yeah.
night vision and shit like that.
Yeah,
they mess
like there's a new bow sight that came out from Garmin last year that it actually it will range find for you on the site, which I think is pretty slick. But it will also say, it says 60 yards. You'll basically put in first all of the specs of your bow, and then it'll basically say, this is where your pin should be.
It'll do a similar thing to those SIG scopes that you have.
Yeah.
which is not permitted to hunt.
No,
right?
Correct.
No, not in Idaho for
Yeah.
sure.
But back east, where it's like freaking deer infestation, they're like, yeah, shit, smoke 'em.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's an interesting debate when you think about it. Like, on the one hand, are you making it too easy for the hunter?
Right.
On the other hand, isn't that more ethical?
Yeah.
Like, would you rather that hunter wound the animal and then it not die immediately and get away and suffer, or would you rather have that animal die quickly? Like, what's better? If you got a thing that's telling you exactly how far it is, that's accurate, and you're able to put the arrow where it should go instead of guessing at how far it is, like, is that more or less ethical?
I think it's called the Fair Game Act.
Yeah.
Where they wanted to make it fair for the animal. Unless
Give
it's
him
like
a gun.
I gave it a freaking AR-15.
I threw my 9mm at it.
Yeah, freaking dueling pistol style. Just here you go.
So even if say you shoot it with your bow and it's just injured and it's like, and you can't hit it, you can't shoot it.
No,
definitely not.
You have to hit it with the bow with another arrow.
Yeah.
If you're, in fact, can you even take a firearm with you if you're bow hunting?
Like a side pistol?
Can you stay on a
you
sidearm
can-
for
yeah,
like
you
30
can-
minutes?
yeah.
You can't have like a 270 hanging on your shoulder.
Right.
I'm just using it as binoculars, officer. Just
Yeah, that whole
Stick the foot.
it's from an arrow. It's just
exactly.
Why does that exit wound look so different?
Type of arrow.
That was somebody else.
The
That was-
inertia
the arrow
from
went
the
all the
arrow.
way through.
That was the other guy.
Wait, they do. I mean, there's
Sometimes, yeah.
Really?
I,
shit.
especially when, like,
if they miss bones,
yeah.
Oh
yeah,
fuck,
they
my
have-
joke sucked then. Okay.
Yeah, double lung pass throughs all the time.
That's what happens when you're
But-
not well informed.
Kind of what they're saying, like the technology of it. Like I heard when compound bows in like the 70s and 80s, where they're starting to become more prevalent, like the bows are going so much faster. You don't have to be as close to the animal anymore. Same concept, but eventually they're like, no, compound bows kick ass,
By the way, what I looked up, it says it depends on the area. Some areas allow for either sex, some don't, and then it depends if it's a controlled hunt or not.
How long have you been preparing to do this hunt for this year?
I started in mid-September.
Shit. So
Damn,
we better
we're
start
way behind.
practicing.
Yeah.
Can you not
For next
prepare?
year.
Can you not prepare for like
you just slow down? Can you
for
just
6
slow down a
months so
little
that we can catch up?
I mean,
Just pump the brakes.
you can literally start today. You know, just go get a bow, and I mean,
Do you
I
have
I just more did it just so for the fact of I would feel comfortable doing it, you know, and then also with the people, and I could go out and watch them hunt, and I could start learning from others, and so I knew it would probably be a long process of me learning. But I mean, there's people that will start training heavily, you know, May at the beginning of summer when you can actually start going outside more and shooting at the ranges.
And go hunting that year.
You know, because a lot of people, they don't really like the indoor experience because that's a controlled environment. And when you're hunting,
It might be windy. It might be rainy. It might
Not in Idaho, not even might be. It
will be.
At
It
the
will
very
be.
least, there's going to be a
Snowy.
breeze.
it was
yeah.
snowing this morning as I left my house, you know, like, so, but so, yeah, no, I'm just learning and growing. And, you know, I just started to tell my kids, you know, sometimes those goals take more than a couple weeks to prepare for, you know, like I still need to make sure that I test broadheads. I am still making sure that my bow speed is up.
Have you got into broadheads?
Yeah, I've been looking at stuff. One of the companies, it's another Idaho company. It's called Annihilators. They're freaking awesome. They say they have almost the same feel as shooting a field tip, you know? So
Shit, Idaho has some badass
A
companies.
lot of badass companies.
there's
badass
lots of camo companies. I mean, there's tons of, that's why I wanted to do this thing, you know, to go through and talk to other brands in Idaho, you know, just because like I said, I feel like people kind of shit on Idaho sometimes. They're like, oh, just potatoes. No, they offer a lot.
Just keep it like a little bit on the down low because we don't want them all moving here.
That's true.
Like,
It sucks.
The winter here is terrible.
The winter does suck, but
yeah, like it's fucking April and it was snowing this morning.
But the thing is, a
It's
lot
been
of
snowing
people,
all day.
Still was no.
a lot of people in Idaho don't realize that there's a lot of cool companies in Idaho.
That's what it
That's
is.
true.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Well, you got Climb, you know, for like all of the outdoor apparel for snow
The
machines.
first time, like I've known, you know, Justin, the one that owned it, and I went to climb with Mike. I don't know, a long time ago, but I hadn't touched that place since they had a storefront, and I just went. I think the beginning of this year,
They got big, huh?
and it's nice.
Yeah, but there's so many brands.
Cryptech.
Yeah,
Cryptech is in like central Idaho.
yeah. Eagle, I think, is where that's at. There's a whole
Even
bunch.
that fucking rope company. What's that rope company?
Oh, that battle.
No, it's not Battle.
The ones that
It's
come in the can.
Rapid Rope or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Rapid rope.
They're
yeah.
an Eagle too, I think.
Yep, there's a lot over there. And so
Well, there's that not the meat eater store, but
Oh, the light, First Light.
First Light.
yeah, First Light, that's in Stanley.
No, that's in
Haley.
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 I was there like a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went up to the store. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
No.
There's a lot of knife companies. There's a lot of gun companies. There's a lot of stuff in Idaho.
Yeah, and so it's just been kind of fun. And I take it back.
Hey, Jesus, we just need to get you into hunting.
It's expensive.
No, I'll help you out.
Absolutely, Leo will help you out.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So
He don't like killing animals.
he likes to eat animals. He just doesn't like the act
I
of
like
killing
eating
them.
them. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind the processing part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
like the
it's
deer,
just
the
the
deer that
killing
I
it part.
killed.
Yeah.
Was it no? The 2 years ago, the deer I killed. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
yeah.
helped-
Because
Yeah.
the last
he
one
helped
you
us
sent to that
complete-
dude in Roberts.
Yeah, the one that got hit by a car.
Oh, that
Oh,
elk.
we did
Yeah,
that
that
one.
elk.
The elk got hit by a car.
Yep.
Surprised it didn't kill the guy.
Oh, he was so fucking
so
lucky.
You don't know how lucky he was.
Oh man, he was driving a little tiny Honda,
Little Honda Civic.
and he clipped the back leg of this elk with the headlight, like it was almost
broke his
already
headlight,
past
that
him.
was it.
Broke his headlight, broke the elk's leg,
Yeah.
and
That's
Legs,
like,
both back
insane.
legs.
it was
He should have
a
been.
miracle that
he
he
should have been
survived.
dead.
Yeah, and it was like a little herd that passed, and he caught the last one.
And it was not a small. It was not a small
No, it was-
cow.
it was
like
No,
it
it
was.
needed 4 of us to just
Yeah.
drag it up to the trailer.
It was a. It was not a small.
That's
animal.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been fun. I've had a blast. I really enjoyed
So
it. It's
how about butchering?
yeah, I have no problem with that. Like,
But do you
Have you done
no,
it yet?
I haven't. That's why I'm.
So
that's
that's
why I'm
another skill you're gonna have to get because
Yeah.
you kill something, you have to butcher it up.
Yep,
there.
exactly. Yeah. So luckily, I have awesome coworkers that you
Yeah,
know.
that's cool.
I've started to build a little bit of a little team so that when that happens, I can go out with them and they go out with me, and
that's awesome.
and I also
Send you up there with some knives. So you can get some footage.
Sure. Hey, I like I said, my minor in college was film production, but I've been doing photography since I was like 13 years old. That was I got into cameras and bows, two expensive hobbies, but I love it, and so.
So what's your next goal? Like, or do you have one lined up yet, or you're still focusing on this one for now?
Next goal after that. So after the hunting, it's not like I'm just gonna be done.
Yeah.
I actually want to go and there's a Las Vegas shoot where it's like the biggest archery competition in the world, where there's like 4,500 archers that show up, and it's like a 4-day event that you go and you shoot, and it's just a huge thing. I actually will train for that, and that will be next February. And then at the same time, I also want to start training for it's the Outdoor Archery Association stuff, where it's like the 3D targets. And so I want to start training for all those things, because I feel like a lot of archers, like they do the hunting, but they also want to keep in that mind space. They want to keep shooting. So I want to do all these other little things that incorporate that, but also like I just have a huge passion for the outdoors. So hide drift boats here in Idaho Falls. The owner is my great uncle, and so my cousin, her and I, we always used to go and hike, and she's a huge fly fisher woman. She does all that stuff, and so I'll probably go and do stuff with them as well. And so I don't think it'll just be bow hunting. I think it will also just become more of an outdoors channel as well. But I'll just let it take me where it goes and have fun with it. And if it also goes into gun hunting or whatever, like I have no problem with that. I know me and my dad, we want to go out and start shooting coyotes and other stuff. And
that one died, I think. Hold on.
That one? No, that one's us. That's the one that's still on. Oh, that one. Yeah. So I'll talk for a minute. Yeah. So I got put on the spot all of a sudden. Yeah. So.
What's your biggest mistake? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for bringing that up. There are so many, it's hard to choose just one.
Choose one.
Yeah, hunting with Leo. Just in general, because if you are unsuccessful, he will give you shit.
Absolutely.
Whether he's successful or not, it doesn't matter. Yeah. If you're unsuccessful, it's not gonna go well, and so.
Flashbang, just
yeah. So
yeah, it turned off.
Yeah, everything. So, do you have a spot picked out for your for the mule deer that you're? Don't tell me where, obviously, but like, do you already know where you're going?
I'll start trying to go out and scout a whole bunch more on my days off.
Do you have a general? Do you have like a unit kind of picked out? I'm gonna go here.
Yeah. Okay. No, I have a couple, and then I'll also do sage grouse hunting, just because.
With bow?
Yeah. Shit. Oh yeah. I also want to do goose hunting with a bow. I think it sounds like a freaking blast.
That'd be. You're gonna have to shoot them once they've landed. In that case, correct? Or are you still trying to shoot them out of the air?
I'll use if they're in the air, I'll probably have the recurve with the flu attached. So it freaking slows it down so it doesn't get launched a million miles away. But then
that would be fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I would love to do that, and then try and also do the deer and the elk and whatever else I can see if I can get a tag for. Potentially, I might see if I can do antelope, at some point. But
damn, that
with a bow,
yeah,
fuck,
antelope would be.
Yeah,
that would be competition for sure.
Yeah,
that'd be tough because they're fast.
Yeah,
it's
and
hard
skittish.
to get.
Yeah. Like, that's where my one coworker, he was like, some of these shots were, at these 3D shoots, they're like 65 plus yards away. That's a pretty actual range that you'll be shooting at, like antelope, and so you really
for antelope season going out towards salmon. Mm-hmm. We see in the desert these little blinds that they set out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what those are for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's there for antelope specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, and
what are they?
Antelope blinds.
Like little.
It's basically like
it's a little hut.
Oh, okay.
That you can sit in.
It's a spot for you to hide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a,
they're also called hides sometimes.
okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So aside from your camo, like if they're more of a permanent blind, it doesn't necessarily matter as much what it's made of because it just is part of the landscape to the animals. Like especially if they're in the area, they'll go back and forth, and they're
They get
not going to
used to
think
it.
twice about it because it's just there.
yeah.
So a lot of them are just wood,
Yeah.
just little wood buildings, basically.
So it'll be kind of fun to go out and scout as well. Like I've been watching stuff from, I think it's the University of Missouri. They have all these different things like how to look for like different areas where you might find stuff. One of the things that I'll probably do, and I can't use it during hunting season, but while I'm doing like scouting season, I'll probably I have a little drone and I'll take up and look above the trees and see like, oh, that looks like a decent area. Let's go look and see if there's any signs of life. And so I'll go using my video knowledge to go out and, see and whatnot. And so, yeah.
You can use a drone for scouting? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
You can't use it
Once
for
the hunting season starts, you
yeah,
can't.
Yeah.
It has to be before, correct?
Yep. Yeah. You
Okay.
can't even use a drone. Like there was a debate where people were using it to go and
Find a downed animal?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They can't even do that.
No, not for that.
Yeah. So, but for scouting purposes, you're more than welcome to do that. You can use that for like the shed hunting as well, where you're going out and looking for the antlers.
Oh,
and-
really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be doing that, and that'll be pretty fun. I just have like a basic drone, but yeah.
That'd
Right
be
on.
pretty cool.
The drone thing, the drone thing, it's another one of those things where it's like, if you were using it to hunt, I can definitely see that being like an unfair advantage. But
Yeah.
to retrieve an animal,
Yeah. No, that's a huge.
Should be allowed, yeah.
Yeah. There's a huge push for a lot of things, and
I think they're trying to ban drones now too.
yeah, they're also like one of the things that came out from Congress last year, where they're trying to take and remove programs that there's a potential of having dangerous items in them. So like, if you had like in your school a hiking club or a camping club, you might have like a pocket knife or something while you'd go out and do these things, and they'd like, oh, we don't want that. Well, that also in turn, there's something called the National Archery in the Schools program, where it's actually one of the largest programs in the after school sector. That's not like basketball or football or things like that, but it's actually they get these basic bows, and everyone uses the same bow, and it's nationwide. I don't know how many schools in this area. I know there's one in St. Anthony, and I think there's one out in Ryrie that are like the local clubs. But they all have the same bow, and they go out and they compete, and it has like a huge scholarship program. But that one was affected by that super heavily, and so people say like, hey, if you are in the outdoor sector and that's what you really love, please talk to Congress, talk to all these people, because hunting it's an American heritage. Like I think of all the things that when I think about America, hunting is one of the things that I think of. Between the guns and the outdoors and the stories of the kids going out there, their grandpa or their dad, and that experience. To hear that they were trying to take that away, because you put it, gun safety, knife safety, you have things that make you feel more safe because you get the experience of using them. You don't really see a huge spike in misuse of firearms or guns or knives in places where they talk about using the guns and knives and bows and all those things. So I think it's really important to keep talking about, hey, what's the future? What are we going to do? Which is where that whole podcast thing or the interview that I did here, what's the future? What's the next goal? What do you guys want to do? And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot to.
yeah.
If
Okay, so let people know where they can find you.
Yep. YouTube, Late Season Hunter, or you can type my name, Dylan Justesen. Same thing on Instagram and TikTok, as long as that is still up. Who knows when they're going to try.
As long as that's the thing.
Yeah, as long as that's the thing.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Your stuff is allowed on there. Like you don't get very many community guideline violations.
No, luckily not.
That's good.
I mean, if they can have people dancing half naked on, I don't know why a bow is the problem.
That's what we say too.
Yeah. Well,
So
Well, I don't say that, but yeah.
I think they should both be allowed.
but yeah, so no, you can find me just Late Season Hunter. So
Here's a little souvenir.
oh, sweet.
Top Day Grind.
That is
Thanks for
sweet.
being on the podcast.
Oh,
for
my
sure.
dad's gonna be jealous. He loves memorabilia coins. He's gonna see. I was like, oh man. So that is awesome. I love it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Again, we're gonna definitely be seeing more of you on Top Knives and Top Lady Grind.
Yeah.
We need to do something with both. So.
Yeah, and if you want stuff to go out in the field, I will love to take stuff out into the field and get back to you. You know,
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
so
So
Right on. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
yeah, thank you for having me.
absolutely.
We've seen more of you.
Perfect. Thank
yeah,
you.
appreciate it.